back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I wanted to talk about, my cat is like all over my shoes right now. I wanted to talk about why I do not track food and why I don't post what I eat in a day videos, because I feel like that gets asked a lot. That's a very common question whenever I do questions, is like, do you track your food, and then can you do what I eat in a day? So I wanted to address it. I just got back from the gym. I may take a break to shower, but I really wanted to make this video and put like my reasoning out there. If you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, I have talked about it a lot before on there as well, but I figured I would go a little more into detail on here. So, also before I start, I'm wearing the new Gymshark sweat collection, a set from them. This is by far my favorite collection probably so far. It's easily in like my top 3. They just released it. I posted a full review on my channel. My last video actually was a full review with some other pieces as well. So you can go check that out if you're interested in it. But if you do not follow me on Instagram, today I just posted a giveaway, a $100 Gymshark gift card. So if you do not follow me on there, you should go check it out. And then you can get a set like this. Absolute favorite set, favorite color. But I just posted that today. Today's the 19th, and it's going until the 22nd of September, so that's this Friday. So you have a few days to enter. The rules are in the caption, of course. So I just wanted to put that out there in case anyone was interested, because who doesn't want a $100 Gymshark gift card? I know I would, so go check it out. Like I said, it's on my Instagram, but now I'll get into the video. Okay, we are back, freshly showered, wearing clothing. This angle looks like I'm not, but I am. So I'm gonna talk about first why I don't track food, because one, that's a little quicker and a little easier to explain. But I've talked about this before, like I said, on like all of my platforms, but really, it's not that I'm necessarily against it and I wouldn't do it again. I probably will do it again because going on vacation in January, and I would rather gradually get into a little caloric deficit than like kind of doing it all at once before the vacation. So since it's a little further away, it gives me time to not have to drastically cut my calories and still kind of hit my goal by then. So I probably will, but the reason why I'm not as inclined to do it, my cat is biting my feet, just being a real menace today. But the reason, so I used to track often before. I would track everything, but for me, I was way too obsessive about it. I would track everything down to my pre-workout. Like, I did not need to track that, but I did. I was tracking literally everything, and it's annoying too. Like, whenever you go out, of course now my cat is playing with her toy. Whenever you go out, having to like remember to track what you're eating and have to look into everything, or if there's something you don't know, and having to track that. So the inconvenience part of it is definitely a huge factor into why I don't track anymore. Oh my god, hopefully this isn't too loud when I play this back. But inconvenience was a huge factor, and I just was way too obsessive over it, and I would always be torn because maybe I wasn't hitting my protein goals, but I didn't have enough calories left in the day, so I wouldn't be eating enough protein, and I would overthink how much fat I was eating over anything else, and I would just look into everything way too much. And for me personally, it was just too unhealthy of a mindset to have with tracking. And I feel like if I were to give advice about it, like if you are someone where you know you don't have the best relationship with food, and you know that something like that you're going to be obsessive over, I maybe would not track. And some people have to track. Like if you are someone who is competing and doing prep, you are going to track your calories. That's just, it's the only way really. If you're going to get to that certain goal, like you're gonna need to track. But just it's not necessary, and I've gone through a deficit without tracking anything, and I've seen great results, which I've talked about before on how I did that. But you do not need to track calories to get your results. You don't need to track macros. If anything, tracking macros is a little better, but you just really don't need to. And that's just my take on it, but I will, it's not that I'm completely against it, and I will probably be tracking again. Like I said, because I have that vacation coming up in a few months, and I want to feel a little confident for it. I don't want to have my bulking phase body for that vacation, so I will gradually lower my calories and get into a little bit of a deficit, but that's why I'm starting now, and it's so far out, because I want to just gradually do it. I don't want to have to drastically cut anything and sort of go through a full cutting phase, but I gradually do want to do that just for the vacation. But overall, I really do not track. I don't track macros either. It just makes life a lot easier to just not track. And I think depending on your mindset, and that's the biggest factor, is how you're going to handle it. Because if you're going to overthink it, it's going to be very difficult for you. And I don't know, I just struggled with it personally, and that's just why I don't do it anymore. So that's my take on it. Okay, so next, the other topic in this video is why I don't post what I eat in a days. Now I want to start off by saying there's nothing wrong with them, and I actually think they're a great tool on like people's social media for different posts, for people who are looking for new meal ideas or higher protein ideas and healthy snack options. Like, they are great, and this is not like anything against this type of content itself. Obviously, there are some that are very misleading and not healthy, and that just shouldn't be looked at. I can't think of any examples right now, but there definitely are some that are not good examples and shouldn't be posted. But overall, I think it is a great concept, and this isn't anything against like people who post these or just the concept itself. Like, overall, I think they are good, but this is just my opinion on like why I personally don't post them anymore. So I say anymore, I did used to post a lot of what I eat in a days when I was going through like my very first cutting phase, which was like maybe 2 years ago, and I posted them all on TikTok. Some of them are still up, I believe, but the reason I don't anymore, first of all, I never posted like the calorie count, the macro count. I never posted any of that, which I'm 50-50 on if people should post that. I think that is something that maybe doesn't need to be included when people are posting what I eat in a days, in my opinion. Some people do like to see it, but just overall, I feel like it's not necessary. But I never posted that. I would just post what I was eating throughout the day. And I would get so many comments, and they would be in both directions. It would be, you're not eating enough, this doesn't look like enough, this isn't enough, blah, 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 all that. And then there would be, oh my God, like, I feel like I should be eating more, like, that seems like so much food, I can't eat that. And this would be on like the same post. So it would go either way. And it's like, again, I didn't put the calories in there, but if someone said something about it not being enough, I would say, this is 2,100 calories, this is in my deficit, still in a deficit, I'm still eating over 2,000 calories, like I am eating plenty. And then people who would say, this looks like so much, and all this stuff, blah, 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 I would explain again, this is this many calories, this is what I need for my body, and it just got kind of annoying. And I would get so many comments going either way like that. And it's like, I knew what I was eating. I was tracking my own calories. I know what is enough for myself. No one can tell you just by looking at you or just by looking at your food that you are not, well, maybe just by looking at your food. Sometimes you can tell that you're not eating enough. Like, if you are calculating it correctly and putting in the right information, then you know how many you should be eating. Like, someone should not sit there and tell me that I'm not eating enough when I know. I thought long and hard about it. I was taking enough time out of my, schooling, stuff like that, to really calculate my own personal needs. and I was tracking them accordingly, and I was hitting my goal each day. Some days I was a little under, but I was still eating over 2,000 calories a day, and even in a deficit. So it just got very annoying, and that's why I think what I eat in a day can be very misleading, because people see them and they think like that. And even if you don't get comments like that, clearly there are people who think like this, because I was getting some of these comments where they look at your food and say, oh my God, like I'm eating too much. Like I need to lower my calories to this if I want to look like this person who is posting this video. Or I'm not eating enough. This person still looks like that and they're eating all this. Like I should just start eating more. I don't know. It can go either way, and that's why I think they can be really misleading on my end. Like I just didn't like getting those comments. And like I said, I knew I was eating enough. I was eating enough. I was meeting my protein goals almost every day. But it just was frustrating. And I do think that they can be really misleading, like when people look at that food, and especially if you put the calories in and the macros in, people are going to start thinking and just basing their diet off of that, when that is 100% not what you should be doing. You should be finding out what your calories are, what your macros are, based on what your goals are, not going off someone else. Because everyone is different. Everyone has a different activity level. Everyone has different BMI. Everyone has different just height, weight, everything. So many other factors. And people sit there and try and base it off diets that they see on social media, when there's just so many factors that go into your own personal calories, and you just can't base it off anyone else. You just really can't. And it's just frustrating getting those comments, because that's just people's opinions. I know what's working for myself. What I eat and how many calories I eat, what my macros are not going to be the same as someone else, regardless if we even have the same body type. They are still not going to be the same. If you look at someone and you think we have a similar body type, this is what they're eating, I should center myself around that amount of calories, that amount of protein, blah, blah, blah. Just because you look like someone does not mean it's the same. Just because you have those same goals and you're trying to get a certain physique, it still does not mean it's going to be the same as someone that you see online. And that's why I personally do not post them. Again, I think they are very helpful because people can get some great meal ideas and snack ideas and how to get higher protein. And that's why I do still post certain meals that I have or certain snack ideas that I think are great. Stuff like that, but I don't post like a full day of eating because for the reasons I already went over. But I will still post meals and snacks because I want to be helpful in that way and give people some ideas, but I don't want people to base their diet and their calories off of what I post. And I don't need people coming at me saying I'm eating too much, I'm eating too little, this and that, when they just don't know, because no one knows what you need. And like I said, even if you think you're working out the same as someone else, you are still probably going to have a different activity level. Maybe they have a more active job or you have a more active job, something like that. So many factors, and you cannot base it alone off of how someone looks and saying that you think you should be eating the same amount of that as them. It just doesn't work like that. And you just need to follow your own calories. That's the biggest thing. And like I said, nothing against anyone who posts these videos or just the concept in the videos themselves, because like I said, they do have great benefits. Just personally, I don't like that thought of people looking at it and changing their diet or how they're eating or their calories based off seeing what I ate, for example. Not that maybe anyone has or anyone would, but based off of those comments I got when I would post beforehand, when I would post these type of videos, I got that impression that people would do that, and people were doing that. So I just don't choose to post them anymore. Like I said, I do love still sharing like meal ideas and nutrition tips and stuff like that, but just not an entire day of eating. I don't really go through them because I just don't want people to get in that mindset. And just for me personally, it's like not a moral thing. I guess you could say it like that. I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but I just don't want people I don't want to mislead anyone or let people get in the thought of this is what she's eating, this is what I should be eating type of thing. I want people to get the education enough that they can figure out what they need for themselves instead of going to reference an influencer or just anyone else to get their calorie intake and their macro intake. It just, to me, is not the right image that I want to put out there. That's not the word I'm looking for, but my brain can't think of words today. I just don't want to put that out there and have people thinking like that, basically. But that is why I do not post what I eat in a days. That's why I don't track my food. I tried to make this as quick as I could, but I did go on a little bit of a rant. But hopefully it kind of makes sense where I'm coming from. Oh my God. It makes sense where I'm coming from. And like I said, I just don't have anything against anyone who does any of these things. And I'm not saying either of these things are bad in a way. I'm just stating like my personal opinion on it and view on it and why I personally choose to not do either of them. So hopefully that's a little helpful, and hopefully if you are someone who has maybe watched videos like these and you have thought that you need to change your diet or you want to start following the calories and diet of a particular person, you know you should not be doing that, and you can look into what you need for your own body and your own goals, because that's really what you need to focus on. Despite all the help that you get on social media, seeing what people are putting out about their lives, you still need to focus on what your own goals are, because everything around it is going to be catered to that, just your particular goal. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, but we, and I say we because I hope other people like that consider themselves influencers or whatever, should just be putting information out there to just aid you. We shouldn't be making you change your entire direction and base everything you do off of what we do. It should be just an aid in terms of this is a great meal idea or this is a great workout to do, something like that. Obviously, if you have an influencer who is a coach, that's totally different. And if you are paying someone for that service to help you along the way, that's totally different. But just watching someone online and copying that word for word and changing what you do word for word is not helpful. And anyone who tries to do that is not helpful, because any type of nutrition coaching or personal training should be done individualized to you. Obviously, there are guides you can get which help you, but nothing should be telling you exactly in a generalized term exactly what you should be eating or doing, because everything is going to be individually caterized to you. So I hope that's very clear, and I hope that is somewhat helpful for anyone watching. But I also wanted to remind you guys about the giveaway. Again, like I said, hopefully my cat is not being too loud on here. But the giveaway, like I said, which is up on my Instagram, and I post my full workouts on Instagram as well, so that is where you'll find them. I do post them on TikTok, but all the details in terms of sets and reps all go on Instagram. And TikTok, I do have some other content as well, so you can go check that out. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time.